Okay, good morning. My name is Jaden Flowers. I'm a graduate student at North Carolina State University, majoring in recreation administration with a concentration in athletic administration from Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm here today with Mr. Ernest Gill, who is over the recreation supervisor at Raised Splash Planet with Mecklenburg County. So I headed over to Mr. Gill.
My name is Ernest Gill. I work at the Recreation Program Supervisor here at Raised Splash Planet. I've been here for almost 2 years now. Really help with the dry side operations of the facility. So we have, as far as different type of sports, camps, programs, active events, whether it's in the community or here at the recreation site, and just kind of help oversee the administrative idea and creativity for everything that we have.
Okay, let's get started. So we start. So starting with the background career path. The first question, so what inspired you to pursue a career in parks and recreation?
Yes, so I would say working in college, I was a intramural referee, but I was also an employee of the campus recreation and wellness program or department for Western Carolina University. So that's really campus recreation and wellness is exactly what it sounds like. It is recreation. So that I really enjoy just getting into with the population in a recreational setting, being able to provide fun and engagement for my peers and my students really opened me up into that. After college, I worked as a site supervisor for Iredell Statesville Parks and Rec, site supervisor mostly for youth soccer. I helped with some of their administrative work as well. And then it kind of led me to the YMCA, which is not with technically
Right.
Parks and Recreation, but it is still
Mhm.
recreational based activities. Same thing, sports, camps, different types of events, programs throughout the city. So I was at Cleveland County
Right.
YMCA for 4 years, and that kind of wanted to look into something, I guess, kind of a bigger area that encompasses a little bit more, and that's what led me to Raise Splash Planet and evidently Mecklenburg County
Mhm.
Parks and Recreation.
Sounds good. Okay. Question two. What was your education? What was your educational background and how did it prepare you for this role?
Yeah, so mentioned I went to Western Carolina University. I actually majored in sports management and marketing, so I was a double major. So with that being said, sports management does a lot of hands-on work with its sports exactly. So I really
Mhm.
enjoyed that. I got to work with different types of athletic events,
Right.
developing and running not physically running, but manually running a 5K.
Right.
To see how it starts with development, things like that.
Mhm.
So Western Carolina definitely prepared me for a lot to do with Parks and Recreation, even though I wasn't didn't do the major Parks and Rec.
Right. Mhm.
Sports management, they kind of did a lot of crossing over. A lot of people actually double major in management and Parks and Rec. So
Right.
I think it definitely helped me out a lot, just the learning aspect of it and the development of what ways to plan for specific sports, whether it be disc golf or
Right.
basketball. So things
Right.
like that.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so question three. Can you describe your career path leading up to becoming a recreation supervisor?
Yes. So I mentioned that I went to after Western, so I kind of skipped after college again. So I started off as a sports director at Cleveland County Family YMCA, specifically the Dover YMCA in Shelby, North Carolina. I was a sports director for a year. Did a good enough job to get promoted to a sports and aquatics director. So I really dealt with the pool aspects of training, developing, promoting lifeguards, as well as doing the same thing for sports staff and also the implementation of swim lessons versus basketball leagues, just everything that had to do with that. After
Right.
sports and aquatic director, I was promoted to senior program director,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much just encompassed. Basically, I always summed it up as anything that had to do with youth. So whether it was summer camp, whether it was after school sports, swim lessons. I personally developed a second grade swim program for the whole county of Cleveland County.
Right.
for every second grader in Cleveland County to do free swim lessons through the YMCA. So was able to help serve over 1,000 kids getting free swim lessons at my time there. So just from there, I just was able to look into kind of different roles and found up with Mecklenburg County. So in about
Right.
2024,
Hmm.
started with Mecklenburg County Parks and Recreation here at Ray Splash Planet as the recreation program supervisor, and been here ever since. And really enjoy it. So enjoyed all works that I did. Definitely excited to see what's in the future, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. So moving on to leadership and management. So question four, how would you describe your leadership or management style?
Yes, so I'm very lead by example. There's not
Hmm.
anything that I would have my staff do that I wouldn't do, and also that I sometimes haven't even things that most likely I have already done before. So definitely lead by example. I like to let everybody know that I'm here to help them. I'm here to make their environment. Uh, I would say is adaptable as possible. And as a manager, I like to try to work with people. I understand things happen. Also, trying to promote and develop the staff as well. So,
Hmm.
whether it's giving them new responsibility or asking
Right.
them whether they are comfortable in different roles, this different ways to try to get them to
Right.
promote themselves as I see them too. Because sometimes people just see a job, and most of
Right.
my staff are part time, they just see a job as a job. So
Hmm.
I just try to get them to promote their work and throughout themselves and their individuality.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next question. So question five. How do you motivate your, well, okay, question five. How do you motivate and manage a diverse staff team?
Yes, so I don't try to encourage everybody kind of the same. I try to get into a personal level. I know that can be hard with multiple
Mhm.
staff. I have about
Right.
16 staff currently, but I would say just trying to get them to buy in a different way. So one person might not be the same as a different one. So just trying to get into the kind of a personal level with them and seeing what best motivates them. Some people may like one-on-one meetings. Some people may not like it because they feel
Right.
like they could be getting attacked. So things like that,
Mhm.
having conversations with different staff and learning the way that they learn is what's important to me and try to motivate them.
Thank you. Okay. Next question. Okay. Next question. So question six. What qualities do you believe make a efficient leader in parks and recreation?
Yeah, definitely being adaptable. One thing
Right.
that you work with is people, and you work with people that are coming here for leisure or for fun. So, with that being
Hmm.
said, as I always tell people, if they're having a bad day, they'll let you know it. They might have worked 8 hours and they're coming to do a sport at 5 o'clock, and they might be having a bad day. You gotta realize that, just kind of roll with it, and being adaptable and say malleable, which
Right.
is
Right.
able to mold yourself into different types of people. That way, you could help better serve and just not really take anything to heart. So I would just say being adaptable for sure.
Definitely. Okay. So moving on to the industry challenges. So question seven, what are some of the biggest challenges facing parks and recreation departments today?
Yeah, so I would just say that being honest, a lot of kids don't like playing sports anymore. We've seen
Right.
a small decline in youth sports just because there's so many other avenues. Not to say that they're bad, but there's just other things to do, whether it may be different types of clubs at school, whether it might be other businesses popping up in the area that do like personal training, things like that, specialized training. Some kids would rather do specialized training in basketball rather than play
Mhm.
recreational basketball. And there's obviously there's the gaming. That's a huge aspect to it. A lot of kids and parents are embracing that playing video games isn't terrible for you, and as long as they're under the roof of their house and being constructive and doing their task and things like that, they let them do that. So just youth sports definitely is can be somewhat declining. Hopefully, it's just like a phase and people realize, but that's a challenge because running youth sports is also the cost is going up to pay referees and
Yes,
things
sir.
like that.
Mhm.
Definitely one of the challenges.
Thank you. Okay. So question eight. So how did the COVID-19 pandemic impact your operations, and how have things changed since?
Yes, so I'll speak for our specific site. I was not here during COVID, but I will say that we changed from being a fitness area
Hmm.
and a water park, so a splash park, our facility, to just being kind of the splash park and then a gymnasium area that promotes recreational activities. So we don't have a quote workout area. You can't come and lift weights and run on the treadmill here at Ray's Splash Planet anymore as opposed to you could before COVID-19. So, with that being said, that changed our kind of our memberships. So we don't have as many members of Race Splash Planet as before COVID-19.
Hmm.
So I would say that was definitely one of the biggest challenges. And also just our hours of operation changed. Open more before COVID, we're open less after COVID. I think that's kind of every business nowadays. But yeah, that's definitely things that's changed since then.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so moving on to staffing operations. So that's question 9. So what strategies do you use to recruit and retain staff and volunteers?
Yeah, so definitely just making it I would say a good work environment. One thing Mecklenburg County always tries to do is make sure that their cost of living, as far as staff, we're giving like cost of living raises and just trying to promote staff and just trying to let them know that we're here to help. So pay is important. I mean, I'll be honest, you're probably already aware that pay is important for a lot of people. So making sure that they're paid properly, making sure that we are able to offer raises and how they can increase their pay, things like that is definitely something that entices our staff because I mean, being honest, all of them I have personally staff that range from ages 20 to
Right,
low 70s, and it's a very vast amount of people. But one thing that they enjoy at Raise is they're paid properly and they enjoy the people they work with.
right. Okay, moving on to question 10. So what are the biggest challenges in managing okay, so question 10. So what are the biggest challenges in managing staff at a facility like Rage Splash Planet?
Yeah, I would say it's just getting all of them on the same page because a lot of my staff, I'd say out of 16, I believe half, if not even more, work at another facility, like work another job that's not with the Mecklenburg County. So they work, we have teachers, we have people that work in other aspects of the school system. They have other jobs, whether it's at an event center, things like that. I think we have staff that works at Bojangles Coliseum. So just
Mhm.
just working with everybody's unique schedule, and just making sure they're all on the same page. So we do monthly staff meetings, and some of the staff also I forgot to mention school. We have I believe three or four staff that are in college, so
Right.
they are all out of high school. So I do not have to deal with any type of high school schedules. But
Mhm.
they do have college schedules, other work schedules. So just making sure that everybody's on the same page because if we make changes throughout the facility, sometimes I only see staff once a week, and if they only work
Mhm.
on the weekends, sometimes I only
Right.
see staff once a month, which is at the
Mhm.
staff meeting because I only work myself one weekend a month because we rotate as managers. But yeah, I would say just making sure everybody's on the same page and working with their schedules.
Right. Okay. So moving on to the or okay, so moving on to the organizational culture and growth. So question 11, how would you describe the culture within Mecklenburg County Parks and Recreation?
Could you repeat that one? I couldn't hear that too well.
Oh, okay. So question 11, how would you describe the culture within Mecklenburg County Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, I would say the culture itself, we actually kind of discussed this at a meeting the other day. I'd just say that we're just all promoting just kind of each other and
Hmm.
making sure that we know that we're doing good works for the community. Definitely is important. I think we all know how important our jobs are. So just making
Right.
sure that we're promoting the good resources that we do have with all of our sites, with all of our parks, all of our nature centers, and just types of resources we have for the community. So just making sure that we're aware of what we can do, and I think is important. The culture itself is I don't want to say it's like family, but it is that we all want to help and encourage each other. We're all trying to encourage each other to do better. It's not one of those things like you want someone to fail or anything like
Right.
that. So I definitely would say it's an encouraging
Hmm.
culturally,
Right.
and then we just want to make sure that we're
Right.
other day by day.
Got it. Okay, so question 12. What opportunities exist for career advancement in this field?
Yes, there's plenty. We have multiple, so it's really kind of, I can start with a recreation assistant. You can be a recreation assistant. From
Hmm.
there, we have so many sites, things like that, that goes up
Right.
into a recreation specialist. They really help with the planning and development of some of our programs. They
Right.
are the hands-on full-time staff. So recreation assistant is part-time, recreation specialist is full-time. We
Right.
have from there, we have senior recreation specialists. We have
Right.
recreation supervisors, which is myself, facility managers. It's very unique. The only thing it kind of tops off at facility manager because once it gets past that, there's only about 4 or 5 positions left. And
Right.
those are really great positions, so people stay in those for such a long time. But as
Hmm.
far as the first four, it's a great career, and also just within Mecklenburg County, those are those avenues. But we have people who start like myself. I didn't start as a recreation assistant. I started
Right.
elsewhere and came in on that kind of second to third level already. And so you can kind of work your way up, whether it's with Mecklenburg County or you can have
Okay.
other parks and recreation. So we have people that come from cities, like the city of
Right.
Gastonia, or they come from Monroe, or they come from just kind of all over the place. We have
Hmm.
actually a new senior recreation specialist that came from Florida.
Right.
So people definitely Parks and Recs aren't going anywhere. That's one cool thing. AI is not coming to take Parks and Rec. I don't
Right.
believe. Actually, I hope not.
Right.
You can't take the
Yeah.
pool away. You can't do things like that. So I think that's really cool. Is that you need people for this job, and so that's why I think it's a good career. It'll be something that's hands on, and I think it's not going anywhere.
Right. Okay. Okay. So move on to the last few questions, which is in skills in advance. So question 13 is asking, so what skills are most important for someone wanting to eat? I'm gonna repeat the question. So question 13, what skills are most important for someone wanting to enter this profession?
Just being, we always kind of, it's cliche, but being a hard worker, being, like I mentioned, adaptable earlier. Things aren't going to go always as planned. Like I said, it doesn't take much to get to get those things kind of your plans maybe can be a little off kiltered or something like that. So just being able to adapt, having backup plans for the backup plans, being a hard worker, being able to work is another important thing because some people have a lot going on, whether it's with
Right.
family, whether it's other obligations, things like that. So, Parks and Recreation is one of those things that we joke about working a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, something like that, and things like something like that happens. Like Park and Recreation, there's weekends, there's nights. Just being able to accept that and embrace that because it is tough. You do miss things, like you may miss a cousin something or a family member something because of what you're kind of committed to at work. So just being able to plan ahead, plan accordingly, have backup plans, and adapt if things go off.
Okay. Okay, question 14. What advice would you give students interested in parks and recreation center? Wait, hold on, let me repeat the question again. So question 14 is asking, what advice would you give students interested in parks and recreation careers?
You said what advice?
So what I'm saying is so question 14 is asking, what advice would you give students interested in parks and recreation careers?
Yeah, I would just say be in it for you and to develop yourself. Make it important for you to really realize where you're kind of going or your avenues because I'm sure they always tell you there's if you're interested in
Right.
trying to make as much money as possible, then Parks and Rec is probably not it. I mean, you will be greatly compensated, but I mean, it's not going to be the same as that those 6 figure deals and things like that off the gate. So
Right.
just being aware of kind of what you're getting into is important. With that being said, like being aware of working with the community, being able to reach out to people, creating those connections, create as many connections as possible. You never
Right.
know who you're going to need. I'm sure that you hear the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Because realistically, you might meet somebody at a basketball game that
Right.
might be more important than you think. And it's happened to me, it happens all the time. You
Right.
walk by people just by walking by, being friendly, asking if they need anything goes a long
Right.
way. And you never know who you might meet, things like that.
Right. Okay. And then following up with the last question, what does a typical okay, so going to the last question was question 15. So what does a typical day look like in your role?
Yeah, so for me, I can use today as an example. Today is Wednesday. That's why I kind of had a lot more availability for you
Right.
for example for this interview. So for me, Wednesdays is payroll day. So doing a lot of
Right.
approving staff. I have to make sure that everybody's time is entered correctly, alter it if it's not entered correctly, from making sure that they are so that way they get paid properly. That is very important to people, making sure they
Right.
get paid properly. Developing schedules. So today I post the schedule for 3 weeks out. So like I said, I do have about 16 employees. I do a weekly schedule. So working on the schedule, I believe it
Right.
is for April 8th through the 14th. So just make it,
Right.
oh, I'm sorry, April 1st through the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm working on right now. And so just making sure everybody's scheduled, because I mentioned, like I said, everybody has a lot going on, just making sure
Right.
everybody can work at the correct time so that way we can achieve our daily operations. Today we are meeting about summer camp already. You're familiar with summer camp. So just trying to make sure we're aware of our
Right.
field trips. We have a meeting this afternoon because we're actually kind of increasing our numbers, driving, who's driving where and who's going where, just making sure that we're on the same page. So we have a meeting for that, as well as a track. Track starts today, so our track
Okay.
team practices today. So I have a meeting with our recreation specialist to go over the game plan for our first track practice. So kind of a busy day, but at the same time, our building's not open, so
Right.
our facility, I can't don't know if I can show it a little bit, but our facility back here is not open today.
Right.
Well, on Wednesdays we're not open anymore. So nothing that's specifically to do with the pool itself today, but we do have, yes, like I said, track practice and some uh, other formal things to get through the day.
Right. Okay. That's it. That's the last question I had to ask you.
All right. Well, Jaden, I appreciate you. Let me know if you need
Thank you.
anything else. Hopefully everything is going well, and you got everything going on for this semester.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Gill. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
Yep. Yes, sir. You too.